Muchas gracias, Fiorella. Thanks a lot. And finally, to finish this session and to give a complete vision on Latin America, Santiago Madriñán will tell us about Colombia. Santiago.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here in País Vasco. It's a wonderful place. I have been here 12 years ago, but the development is wonderful. It's amazing. And thank you very much, Luis, for this invitation. Different from many of our predecessors, I belong to a group that has 40 companies in Colombia, big companies in terms of Colombian measures, that has in their strategy the sustainable development. Those companies believe that if we continue to do the same as we are doing in a sense of production or consumption on laws, the world won't be sustainable in 2050. So it's necessary to change, and it's necessary to change quick and in big scale. The companies that belong to CECODES are from all sectors: mining, construction, financial services, food, retail, agribusiness, and services, and there are Colombians and multinationals. From Spain, we have Telefónica that belongs to this group. Then, taking in account the idea that things has to change, and this change happens because the world will be with 9 billion inhabitants in 2050. And the environment will be less and less sustainable. So we saw that as an opportunity, but with a lot of risk. The risks are in the damage of the environment, deforestation that is happening in Colombia, the water scarcity in many other places, in the climate change, and that gives brings a lot of risks, but a lot of opportunity, because like in energy, it's necessary to reach many, many people that don't have energy today. Fortunately, Colombia has something to answer this risk, and they have a lot of opportunities. We have to understand Colombia because of the geography. It's quite special that a country has high mountains and is in the equator zone, in the equator area. There is no other places, maybe the north of Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia, that has this characteristic. That means that many other countries have high mountains, Europe, Asia, but they don't are located in the equator. So they don't have 12 months of sun all year round. That makes very unique the position of a country like Colombia. That makes that there are ecosystems that you cannot mention in other language. by instance, we have an ecosystem that is called páramos. That is a word that don't have translation in English, French, Japanese, Russian, because it's quite special of this region. Maybe in Spain, they use páramo, but they use that for another completely different thing. This something that is desertic, that they don't have life. But in Colombia, because of the special zone that in those high mountains, there is a beautiful and splendid and rich ecosystem, completely different what in Spain you call páramo. Of course, the word came from Spain, but it's describe another kind of ecosystem. That I insist in this point of the geography, because that's what makes Colombia very good in some opportunities, like electricity. In electricity, we have the water. It rains a lot in Colombia. It's one of the places that has more rain. And with mountains, so it's a place for hydroelectric. And that is the grid of in Colombia, the matrix of energy is 80% hydroelectric. That's a lot. That's more than many other countries. And and the rest is mostly gas. So it's clean energy. That gives opportunity for make in Colombia a cluster for hydroelectric and all the other parts, and a lot of companies around the electricity. That's something quite special, and Colombia has the law and the knowledge to develop this kind of cluster. But of course, it is always welcome the entrepreneurs and the tech clean firms to gain from this special opportunity. The other big opportunity in Colombia is in terms of the biodiversity. It's one of the countries, or maybe by kilometer, the richest country in biodiversity. So there is a big opportunity to develop many kind of new industries, services based in biodiversity. By example, if we use biodiversity and we use energy, we find that one of the best answers that Colombia has given to the energy is the development of biodiesel. This biodiesel is based in palm oil. Maybe somebody here will worry because we talk about palm oil, but the palm oil in Colombia is different from Indonesia or Malaysia. We don't kill orangutans, neither elephants. What it is possible there is to develop land that don't gain from the forest, but is a land that has been used by extensive cows and maybe rice, and it's a land that is not fertile today. But it is possible to use, and we use it today for development of big plantation of palm oil. And around this palm oil, it is possible to develop not just food, but energy, the biodiesel, with a policy of partnership between the government and private enterprises. Now the composition of the biodiesel in Colombia is 15% biodiesel and the rest is fuel oil. So there is a lot of opportunities taking in account the geography that you can, that is possible to use because of the biodiversity and the geography of Colombia. Thank you.
Gracias, Santiago. Thanks a lot. Now I have discovered that all these countries are pretty beautiful. I want to go to everywhere. Despite not having more time, I wouldn't like to close this session without making some question, because I have seen that you have been competitive between yours, talking about your countries. So my question is just to give me or give us some titles around what recommendations would you give to SMEs or to startups to go to your countries and implement new technologies based on the differences that you've seen with Europe. We can start with Fiorella if you want.
Well, if the target market is well defined, for example, energy, sanitation, solid waste, I would recommend it to start with a visit to the main actors, main state of public organism that respond to the business development plan. You have to schedule, for example, meetings with the responsible of development, investment in these fields, the government agency that is in charge of the rules, calculate the tariffs, give the quality regulations, set the rules for the auction mechanism, set the actor or the regulatory agency that set the rules for private participation, PPAs, tax deep, private initiatives. In resume, you have to know how laws and regulations of the industry before forming the company or subsidiary in Peru. In second place, it's very important to schedule meetings with potential actors. For example, people in the sector of mining, fishing, construction, finance sector, retail. For solid waste, people who is interested in solid waste can schedule meetings with regional governments, authorities, and the Ministry of Environment. And at last, finally, for the implementation of the business, it is very important to take contact with a law firm who is going to be the responsible for the registration of the company, and prepare the technical files.
Gracias. Laura?
Em Brasil, é importante ter partner local, local partner, é dizer, uma joint venture, para ser empreendimento de sucesso, uma empresa de sucesso, algo de êxito, é necessário, é importante. É importante também para reduzir riscos cambiais, ter financiação de tesouraria em moeda local. Isto faz a diferença muito grande. Está acompanhado sempre de grandes fiscalistas, buenos fiscalistas e buenos juristas, porque o sistema é muito complexo. E não minimizar o risco de subministrador, é dizer, preço, prazo e disponibilidade. Hoje, a demanda por serviços está mais grande que a oferta. E serviços, preços e prazos são muito difíceis de... Há que acompanhar e há que estar realmente bastante cerca para reduzir os impactos em função de la pequena oferta e grande demanda.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, in Sinaloa, we like to talk to you on a personal basis. There are different needs for everybody, and I know there is a lot of information about Mexico, how you can get into the electrical grid, but when you get to the state, we prefer to go to you and be an advisor. We have Mr. Radamés Diaz, Enrique Maitorena, and Gabi that are willing to share information, give us your card. We're willing, we're open. We are in the state of going to the second phase in bioenergetics, and I think we can be great partners. And outside this corridor, we have a video about what's going on in Sinaloa about the Jatropha. There is a professor on stage that can ask and, of course, answer all the questions. And we're willing to share our needs with you, and thank you very much.
Okay, again, I will insist in to know the Colombian geography, and I put it now in a negative way. By instance, wind or eolic energy is quite difficult to install in Colombia because of the high mountains. The logistics, the transportation of these big parts are mostly impossible. So the only part that could be done is in the coast, if this part came by sea, but at that areas there is not enough population, enough demand for the energy. So it is important, this kind of knowing the geography. Another negative example is mining of gold. Mining of gold in Colombia with the high mountains and raining a lot, and with cities near the mines, the population are the worst investment for Colombia. So it's better to know the geography and came to other kind of clean technologies like hydroelectric or based on agribusiness and biodiversity.
Gracias, Santiago. Thank you all first for being here with us in Bilbao, in the Basque Country, in this Cleantech Forum. It's a long travel from your countries and for sharing with us your opportunities in your countries. Thanks a lot.